Hello and welcome back to the Hassall's kitchen. It's been a while between baking videos.
Indeed, indeed.
Been too busy out exploring the world, but lockdown has us back in the kitchen.
Why not? We're here every night anyway.
Pretty much. Today we're going to be making some apple cinnamon cookies. I believe we made apple cinnamon muffins last time, but sometimes you don't want to pull out a whole muffin. Sometimes you just want to snack on a little cookie. So I decided to adapt a little recipe that I found on the internet, make a few changes, and that's what we're going to do today. Jesse's decided he's going to be cameraman today.
Well,
Stay out of it.
I'm no help anyway.
Oh, come on. I'm sure we'll find a use for you. Anyway, let's get into it.
Cool.
Let's get the tedious part out of the way first. We gotta chop up this apple into teeny tiny little pieces. So, that wasn't so bad. Alright, now we'll push that out of the way till right at the end. And on to making the cookie batter. First up, we're going to need brown sugar, egg, and butter. We'll start with the butter. We need a half cup of butter, and it needs to be softened, so we'll pop it in the microwave for a little bit to soften it up. Butter doesn't exactly easily go into a half cup, so I'm just kind of cubing it and having a guess. I reckon that's pretty close, so we'll just pop that in our trusty baking bowl and into the microwave for a second. Next up is the brown sugar. So we need a cup of this, and this should be firmly packed, so we'll use the spoon to push it down in there a bit. There we go. The more sugar the better, I reckon. Or at least this recipe reckons. And thirdly, we need 1 egg that we will pop in here. Then we're going to need our trusty mixer, and we're going to beat these together until it's light and fluffy. You'll know because it kind of changes colour a bit and looks fluffier. It's really all in the instructions, isn't it? Scrape up all that goodness, get it in there. Ah, look at it go! We've got the bowl spinning by itself. I think that's looking pretty light and fluffy. Then we need to move on to the dry ingredients, which is baking powder, salt, cinnamon, and flour. We'll start with the baking powder. We need a half teaspoon of this. And then we're going to need a teaspoon of cinnamon. This is the half teaspoon measure, but it fits inside the top here, so I'm gonna use it times 2. And a half teaspoon of salt as well. Oops. Try to measure your salt actually into your measuring spoon. That will probably help. And then we need some plain flour. Now, the recipe originally said 1.5 cups of plain flour. I made this the other week with gluten-free flour and needed more than that because the mixture was too runny. It was just gonna melt on the tray if I put it in the oven. And that is not what you want in a cookie. So maybe try 1.5 cups and see if your mixture looks too runny and add an extra half cup if it does. And as a final touch, we're going to add some vanilla as well. Be guided by your heart as to how much you put in. Then we're going to mix it up. Make sure you stir it in a little bit first so that you don't get a giant puff of flour in your face. You probably still will, it just won't be as bad. Alright, that looks like a cookie dough to me. So now we're up to the part where we add all the good bits. So it's time to come back to these apples that we chopped earlier and chuck them in there. And why stop at apples? We can add pretty much anything that we want to cookies to make them taste good. So, let's see what we have in the cupboard. The trusty chocolate container won't let us down. Peanut butter Reese's chocolate chips? I think so. I'm not measuring these at all, I'm just putting them in there to my taste. Oops, I emptied the bag. Don't worry, it wasn't full. Fun tip actually that a housemate of ours told us at one point, peanut butter and apple go really well together, so if you've never tried it before, cut up some slices of apple, paste some peanut butter on top of them and give it a go. It's delicious. What else have we got here? Crumbed walnuts. Some of those will do nicely. That should do. What else is in here? Dark chocolate chips. That's fun too. Oops, emptied another bag. There were hardly any in there though. See, I promise. That's probably enough, I reckon. But you do you. You can have lots of fun at this stage. And then we're just going to mix these all around and get it all nice and incorporated, and we're pretty much at the finished cookie dough stage. It wouldn't be a Hassall's baking video if we didn't forget to preheat the oven, so go ahead and preheat the oven now. The oven should be at 180 degrees Celsius, by the way. Back to the mixer. What do we reckon? Is this looking pretty good? I think so. I think we're ready for the next step. Grab out your cookie sheets. Try not to massacre your baking paper. Come back to that one. And it's time to start rolling your cookies into little balls, ready for the oven. So we'll take little bits, about that kind of size, roll them up, squash them a little bit, stick them on the tray. Repeat until the tray is full, but we want to space them apart enough that they're not going to get in each other's way, so make sure you leave a decent gap between the cookies. And then as a final step, we're just going to grab a fork and go over all of them and squash them down. Get a nice little fork shape in the top, so you know they're homemade. And then they go into the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Just keep an eye on them and see when they start to look slightly browned. Hey Siri, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes starting now.
Perfect. Now you can clean up your mess while Siri does the counting for you. Ooh. That smells good. Oh my goodness, how good do these look? And I can smell sort of caramelized baked apple. Get them off the tray onto a cooling rack. And then, do you think we should try some?
Reckon I should? Alright.
You come along for the good part and don't help with the rest.
I've been around, behind the scenes.
Alright, try one.
Alright. Which one? This one looks pretty. Oh, a bit of water on me. Wow, these might even be a step up from the last ones you made, which were perfection.
I'm gonna try one too. Did we win? That's some good cookie.
Cookie dough, cinnamon cookie dough with apple.
What Jesse really liked about these last time is that they stayed soft.
They stayed soft, even after they were in a jar for a week almost.
I don't think the recipe's that different to any other cookie recipe. It must be the apple that keeps them soft.
Yeah?
But they're delectable.
So very soft. Will they stay soft? The last batch did, so I think they'll stay soft.
Fingers crossed. We'll be enjoying these for the next little bit, trying not to eat too many per day.
Definitely more apple in these, isn't there? Last ones you couldn't really see the apple. This time I'm seeing a lot of apple.
I can only assume it was a bigger apple than last time.
That's why, right.
I'm not mad about it though. I like being able to see the toppings on the outside. Anyway, we're going to go so we can shove more of these in our mouth without having to stop chewing and start talking. If you'd like to see more videos from us, please subscribe, like this video, and we'll see you in the next one. We're about to chop it up. So.
Yeah.
It's up to you how much of it you choose to spray around your kitchen as you mix it together. Do you like cookie dough?
Everyone likes cookie dough.
Here you go then.